Warning: the following audio podcast may include language of an adult, nonsensical, repetitive, and quite frankly, moronic nature. On the plus side, if you watch the video version, you get to see two sexy motherfuckers. Enjoy the show.
And now, coming to you live from the tri-state area and San Francisco, California, it's the best part of Wednesday, Waffle Box, with your hosts, Mike Fish and Kush Hayes.
Welcome to Waffle Box, the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing all at the same time. Coming up on episode 142, who's Bond? We don't know yet. We stand up for Madonna, otherwise she'll yell at us. Plus, Arthur the King gets the movie review treatment, and much, much, much more. I'm Mike Fish, and I am joined, as always, by the main man from San Fran. It's Mr. Kush. Hey, Kush, how you doing, buddy?
What's good, y'all? Kush Hayes here, coming to you with a new episode of the Waffle Box. This is the original Waffle Box, the People's Podcast. It is the best part of Wednesdays. Coming to you all the way from the future home of Super Bowl 60. You love us because we do this. We do this because we love you. Producer Lathan, what is good, my dude?
Top of the morning to you fellas. I hope that you all had a fantastic St. Patrick's Day weekend. I, for one, jumped fully into the festivities by enjoying all of the famous and most celebrated Irish stereotypes. I drank far too much Guinness. I ate a bunch of corned beef and potatoes. I had my hairstylist dye my hair red before I punched him in the face. And of course, the most famous stereotype of them all, I spent the day talking shit about the British. It was one hell of a Sunday.
Marvelous.
All right. Now, did you punch the hairdresser in the face because he dyed your hair orange, or is that the result of you getting your hair dyed orange? They're probably the same question, but
I think it's just the stereotype. The Irish like to fight.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't program the answer.
As long as you didn't bomb anybody's house, it's fine.
Oh, Jesus. Ooh.
Shots fired.
This man!
Yeah, how was your St. Patrick? I don't know if being on a Sunday kind of ruined it. It was like I was gonna go out, have some Guinness for the festivities, but then it was like got to about 4:00. I was like, yeah, it's Sunday. I'm lazy, so I just stayed home and drank non-Irish.
My actual St. Patrick's Day was not much different than yours. Yeah, I stayed at home. I also drank, but that's just called a Sunday for me. Yeah, I'm too old to be dealing with the shenanigans of people go like, it's a certain day of the year, we should get drunk, more drunk than we would normally get. And I'm not doing it. I'm not feeling it. Otherwise, yeah, I witnessed a horrific accident, which I just don't want to talk about. It's in the news. If you type up San Francisco car accident, that happened. Otherwise, I had a lovely weekend. I worked my very last Warriors game, or my very last regular season NBA game. I mean, something cool could happen in the next 2 weeks for me, but highly unlikely. And looking forward to San Francisco Giants baseball in 2 weeks.
Woo! Go baseball!
Go baseball!
I heard the Yankees were looking good, and then all their good players got injured. I think that's like Garrett Cole. Apparently, he's a very good pitcher. He won Cy Young last year. Apparently, that's a good thing, I think. But he got a elbow. Apparently, bless him, which is hard to throw without that. Also, big in the news, taxes. We're gonna celebrate taxes. Woo!
Oh, taxes. Yes.
People
yes,
taxes.
I got my state check back the other day. That was good. Waiting on the feds. That will be better, but yes.
Oh, well, once that tax man told me that we were getting a refund, ever since, every time they showed Joe Biden on the screen, I'm like, where's my money, bitch? Where's my money?
Shake him. I want you to shake the coins out of his fucking pockets, Mike Fish. Grab him by the ankles and just do this shit.
You better give me my money. It'll be a real shame. It'll be a real shame if you didn't. Something might happen. I'm not saying it will happen, but something might happen. That's what I'm saying.
It's a slight disappointment, but it's still, there's just a quiet relief, even when the accountant says, yeah, you're not getting anything back, but you don't owe nothing either. And you're just like, okay. Like, it's It's kind of like winning the defeatist lottery, because again, it's better to not owe anything, but still, you want something back. You want to get a check back. Like, why did I
It's a
just
weird
spend the
feeling.
whole afternoon counting my receipts if I'm not getting anything back?
Yeah, but it's like a weird thing when you like, yeah, I'm getting some money, but it's basically the more official version of getting your winter jacket out the closet after 6 months and finding $20 in it. It's like, ooh, I got money, but it was your money. It's just you just got it back again. So it's kind of like it's like not winning the lottery, unfortunately. But
I got the
anyway,
analogy.
there's a go. Look at that tax talk. It's a big thing. Also, what I wanted to get into, right? This might be a little bit of a hot topic, so I appreciate if you might want to stand back. I appreciate it if you don't want to chime in on this. But conspiracy theories, right? Conspiracy
Fun.
theories have
Can
been
be
coming
fun.
like big, like you heard what's her face? Kate, is it Kate Middleton?
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah. I heard there was something
all the
happening at
conspiracies
Buckingham
going on.
Palace where they're like, "Is the princess? Did they find her? Did they find her dead? Is Charles gonna kick the bucket already?" Like, yeah,
Yeah, I didn't like one. I didn't understand that one because like, what would be the benefit of them hiding the fact that they've never done that before? As soon as someone kicks the bucket,
that
they
you know
normally
of.
announce it. Well, I guess, but when Lizzie, bless her heart, popped her clogs, that didn't take long for them to announce it. So I don't see for whatever. But then it
Oh,
got
but
me to
she was like
thinking about
95.
she was, but it got me to think about another conspiracy theory, big
No,
popular conspiracy theory amongst certain people. Let's just say, right? So there's um, you know, anti-Semitism is big nowadays.
I heard that's a thing.
It's making a comeback. And it got me thinking about this popular conspiracy. The one where people say, oh, the Jewish people secretly run the world and they control everything and like that. That's a big conspiracy theory out.
I've
But
heard
what
that.
it got me thinking, you
It's only
tend
true
to
about
find,
Hollywood. Otherwise, it's not.
yeah, but you tend to find the only people that say that they believe that Jews run the world are always the ones talking shit about the Jews. And it's like, right, let's just say,
That does add up.
for argument's sake, we know for a fact that the Jews secretly control everything. Wouldn't you want to be nice to Jewish people? Like, if they're
That's a great point.
secretly running everything, I'd be like, every Jewish person I met, I'd be like fist bumping them. Hey, mate, we cool? I love you guys. I don't want to be on their bad side if they're secretly running everything. It just seems stupid. I mean, obviously, you're not surprised at the people that they believe they are a little bit on the stupid side, but still, it just doesn't make sense.
There's always someone who's got to go against the grain or thinks that they have to push back against whatever the authority is. Maybe I'm phrasing it wrong. Here's an example. I had a friend a few years ago who got pulled over by the cops. He was clearly in the wrong. He knows he was speeding. He gladly just handed over his ID and his registration, and he was like, "Yeah, just get on with it." And I was like, "What? Why would you be such a cunt about that?" And he'd be like, "I just want them to know they can't push me around." I was like, they're exactly going to push you around if you talk to them like that, man. Just you don't have to be a pussy either, but just like, why are you being a cocksucker? Like, just go, hey, what can I do?
And
Was
I
there a
know,
problem? Oh, my
I
bad.
know, I have some inside intel on this. Now, obviously, it's not
Oh, you were there.
every single one, but I know that the majority of police officers, when they pull you over, unless it's just something obviously very serious, but if it's something like you driving, I don't know, 62 and a 55 or something crappy like that, if you're very nice, and I don't mean like sucking up to them, but if you just go, sorry, yes, officer, here's how can I help? Sorry, officer, blah, blah, blah,
Basic
blah.
manners.
Basically, not majority of the time they'll go, you're all right, just don't do it again. They'll let you off if you're not. I mean, maybe that's, I don't know how it is in California, but just be nice to everyone.
2 times I've been pulled over for a traffic infraction. One was speeding, and despite the fact they're like, you were doing 40 in a residential lane, which is like 25. I was like, no, the residence was over there. I was going this direction, and there's nothing but a forest over here. Like, also, it's a straightaway. Like, you can't go shorter than 40 on it. Like, it's almost impossible. The second time I got pulled over for answering my cell phone 5 blocks from home, and it turned out that the guy who called me called me for no reason. He's like, "Did you call me, yo?" I was like, "No, asshole, I'm driving." He's like, "Oh, my bad." Click, and then I go, "Woo!" In both situations, was nice and polite. Didn't suck up. Wasn't being a dick, but ended up getting a ticket both times.
Oh,
One of
California.
them, the cell phone was Christmas Eve, wildly disappointing. And then the speeding ticket, the guy was just like, "Hey, if you should fight this in court. I have to give you this ticket, but you should fight this in court." And what he's telling me is he's not going to be in court if I fight that. Like, and if the officer doesn't show up to court, it immediately gets dismissed. But I was just like,
Just don't give me the ticket. You don't have
yeah,
to
just don't give me the ticket, man. Come on.
because surely, because you the first thought is like, well, maybe they have to hit their quota for writing tickets, but surely if it gets kicked out of court, then surely that gets knocked off of his record. I don't know. It just doesn't seem.
Oh, they don't give a shit about that. They have there is a quota. No one will confirm that, but everyone knows it. Oh, there's a third time I got pulled over for running a red light. And at that point, I was just like, there was no way for me to stop in time. It like the way traffic was going and all that, blah blah blah. Like I literally could not avoid crossing the red light. By the way, it's one of those things where like there's no real reason for there to be a red light there. There's a crosswalk and there's a bus stop and then there's a high school. But like, anyways, guess what? A week before my trial, because I did contest this one, they removed the red light entirely. They were like, "This is fucking stupid," and then the guy did not show up, so it got removed from my record. At least I think it did.
How do you check that? Is it like your permanent record?
The DMV will have that information.
Oh, so you have to go to the DMV just to,
If you
hey,
if you want to know,
can you see if I've got any stuff on my thing?
Yeah, the
should be an
DMV will
app.
have all that
You
information.
should be able to have an app.
Just
open
depending
it
on
up.
what
Oh,
website you
is there
go
any
to,
points
that
I've got?
information is probably there too.
Also, weirdly, the DMV is not even called the DMV in Jersey. It's called the MVC,
Yeah. What is that?
the Motor
Vehicle Center
Commission.
Yeah.
But it's based. They've rebadged it. It's the same shit. It's horrible. It's miserable. I'm sure I told you this story before, but when I passed my driving test, it was very quick because in New Jersey you just drive around a parking lot for a bit, do like a K turn, stop, do all that bullshit. So my driving test took about 10 minutes, if that, and then just to get my license took me like 3 hours.
Oh, waiting in line to take the picture and all. Oh, wow.
Because you have to wait in line to find out which line you have to go into. And then you're like, right, I'm in this line. And then
Yes,
you get the thing. All right, now you have to go join that line. And you go join that line. And then to get my new, because I had to renew my driver's license, because you have to get like a real ID one, which is like special, harder to.
Yeah, we got the real ID now over here.
So I went in there to renew it, and they said, "Oh, you need like a passport to get your real ID." And I said, "Oh, I didn't bring my passport. I bought enough, on the website where it says how many things you need to get a certain amount of points for ID." I was like, "Oh, I hit the mark on the website. No, you need passport." So I thought, "Oh, okay." So I went home, got my passport, went back, and they said, "Oh." So I showed them my passport, and they said, "Oh no, you need an American passport." So,
fuck you!
I'm not American, but I have a green card. She was like, "No,
why did you just say so?
It needs to be an American passport, so you can't get a real ID, but you can get a regular driver's license, but you have to rechange it again in 2 years." Okay, fine, whatever. So I went back, changed the form, rejoined the line, went to a different woman, the next woman over. And she said, "Oh, you don't want a real ID?" I said, "Well, no, apparently I need a passport. My green card's not good enough for a real ID." She was like, "Oh yeah, green card's perfectly fine." I was like, "Oh." And then the woman next to her chimed in, "Well, you didn't tell me that." I was like, "Yes, I did. I searched for my green card." I was like, "Please don't tell me I have to fill in the form again." She was like, "No, it's fine. We'll do it." I was like, Jesus.
That's government workers for you. You did it all in the same day. You were a goddamn superhero, dude. I couldn't do that. I would have gone once. I would have gone through that first wave of bullshit and like, I guess I'm coming back tomorrow, or if I was most other people, like I guess I'm coming back next week. Like I'm not doing all that again today.
And I purposely went right as the doors opened. So I thought if I'm the first person they see, they can't be in a bad mood already. But
Not yet. Well, you'd be
so I just get
surprised. I
hyped up for it.
didn't work in the DMV, but I did work in the tax collector's office of San Francisco, and
Ooh, that sounds
those
fun.
bad days bleed over the rest of the week. Like,
So you
yeah.
say like the best time to go to the DMV is like Monday morning, first thing Monday maybe.
Oh, I mean, those bitches get angry 7 days a week. So yeah, again, it's a crapshoot. But I bet there was 20 people ahead of you when you got there first thing in the morning.
No, luckily there's only about 6. It's pretty. It
Okay, you
wasn't too
got there
bad.
super early then, or
Oh
maybe New
yeah.
Jersey just does it differently. Like out here, when I need to go to the DMV, like you, I will go first thing in the morning. That means I will get there 30 to 45 minutes earlier, and there will already be like a dozen people also waiting.
It's miserable. It's all a miserable life.
Mm-hmm.
What a miserable life we lead. Anyway, should we get into the news stories for this week?
Let's get to some news. Hopefully, it's happy news. Fucking hell.
Well, we'll see.
Okay, fair enough.
It's now time to take a look back at the past 7 days with this week's top stories.
It's now time for this week's top stories.
This week's top stories, we kick off with Madge. Madonna, the woman who is just a material girl. God damn it, she's all about the materials. But this week, apparently, she's still touring. I didn't know that, so she's still doing a live tours. But unfortunately, she had an unfortunate incident in a recent show at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, when I guess she was like really getting into a jiggy thing. She thought, hey, this show's going really well. Oh my God, I'm feeling it. Wow. Hey, everyone's up on their feet dancing. What's up with these miserable bastards? So she calls out these group of people and goes, hey, what are you doing sitting down over there? She yelled from on stage, pointing into the cheering crowd. What are you doing sitting down? So she walked over to get a closer look at these fans that were just sitting down, obviously clearly not enjoying her show as much as she hoped they would, only to find out that it was the wheelchair section of the Kia Forum.
Hilarious.
Oof.
Unless I'm having one of those dreams where I dream about the future, about non-important shit in the future, not like, oh, what are the next 6 numbers, or who's going to be the president, who's going to win the Super Bowl. I dream about just random nonsense. I believe this is not the first time this has happened to Madonna, where she has called out a person for not standing up, and they're like, I'm in a wheelchair, ho. What do you want me to do?
Just leave it. Like, if someone wants to sit, they paid their money. If they want to sit down, let them sit down. So
Yeah,
just
right.
don't call them, because then you could be in a situation. And then she proceeds to say, oh, okay, politically incorrect. Sorry about that. I'm glad you're here. So she didn't apologize for being a dick. She was one of those, oh, no, it's not, oh, I guess that's not politically, I guess you can't talk about people with wheelchairs anymore. Like she's that kind of age bracket now, I guess. I don't know.
Well, she is a senior citizen, so she might be losing it these days. Which is crazy to think that Madonna's a senior citizen.
I know, right? It's
I
scary.
mean, she's healthier. She's in better shape than you and I combined. Well, I mean, those concerts are 3 hours long, where she's literally running back and forth. I don't know how much dancing she does these days, but yeah, Grandma needs a nap and a shawl, and maybe some Earl Grey tea.
Shockingly, representatives for Madonna did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the news.
Okay, at this point, can we just all agree that Madonna is now aboard the batshit crazy train? I saw somewhere online that said that any negativity towards Madonna is ageism, which is complete horseshit. Did you know that Madonna is younger than Ellen DeGeneres, Gary Oldman, and Michelle Pfeiffer?
You don't?
And nobody is bringing up ageism about them. Do you know
don't believe
why?
that.
Because they're not yelling at handicapped people for being handicapped.
Pretty sure Ellen DeGeneres isn't older than Madonna.
Madonna.
I don't know about Michelle Pfeiffer, and I forgot the third name already, but whatever.
Right, Ellen DeGeneres.
First off, how old is
Oh, no, Ellen
Madonna? Because I
DeGeneres
said
is
Madonna was 65.
Ellen DeGeneres is older than Madonna.
Fair. Well, yeah. All right. Lathan is the AI, so I guess he would have access.
He's
to
like
that.
he's plugged into Wikipedia or something.
Right.
But also, right, I did see when I was doing a bit of research on this, because I don't know if you've seen any recent pictures of Madonna.
I have. It's very
Right.
sad.
Well,
Too much plastic
people,
surgery.
maybe, but also like people are like, oh, it's how can you point out how she looks different now? It's like, well, everyone looks different. Like if you could, like when you're 20 compared to 65, you're gonna look different. It's just a fact.
Mhm.
It's not mean. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you start being mean about it,
Mhm.
then fair enough. But if you're just saying, "Whoa, Jesus, she looks different than she did back in the day," it's just a fact.
So she was a very beautiful woman in her 20s and her 30s, obviously. Who gives a shit about her 40s? Like, people were surprised how good she looked at her in her early 50s. And I was like, yeah, man, like she was on the right diet. She was super cut. The face was, oh, but then something happened. And 15 years later, like, again, I don't know what she did, but it's she got some work done and it didn't turn out well. And now she looks like a fucking train wreck. It has
It's
nothing to
the
do with her age. It's literally she got work done and it was not good work.
I just figured it's the Ric Flair effect. Whereas,
I
like,
mean,
because you remember Ric Flair? Like, I mean, I'm not saying
Sure,
he's
sure.
dead or anything, but Ric Flair, he looked decent for his age for a while, and then all of a sudden he just like dropped off a cliff, and it's like, good lord, you look your age now.
Yeah. I mean, I know Madonna used to party back in the day, but then she, again, when she started hitting the 50s, like she did the whole natural cleanse thing, and like like she goes to bed at a decent time when she's not touring, and like all those wild days are behind her. So, but no, she literally had some work done, some cosmetic surgery, I think is the politically correct term, and it did not come out well.
Plus,
Like
isn't
she
she
has
like 58 kids?
two that I know of.
Oh, didn't she like adopt a bunch, or is that am I thinking of someone else?
I think you're thinking of Angelina Jolie. However, not impossible still. Maybe there's this whole life we don't know about Madonna.
Madonna, Madonna, Madonna. Children
Is she still
six.
married to
Right,
Guy
she's got
Ritchie?
six.
Six kids?
No, according to Wikipedia, they divorced in 2008.
Fascinating.
But I don't know. Well, yeah. I don't know. The picture on Wikipedia is from 2003, and she still looks pretty good there. So I don't know what happened.
Her and Johnny Depp both went to the same school of linguistics because they developed an accent they did not have once upon a time.
Oh yeah, do you remember when Madonna suddenly became like a London woman?
Yeah.
Like, hey, Madonna, I'm Madonna. Apple and pears.
I'm a Metallica, in it.
In it, bruv, geez. There you go. Madonna, just stop yelling at handicapped people. Next story takes us to the glam state of Nebraska.
Oh.
Ooh, where a woman's life hack has got her into a little bit of trouble. A Nebraska woman who found an unusual method to get free gasoline for months is now facing criminal charges.
Yeah, this chick is badass.
So the 45-year-old was arrested on March 6th. She's free on bond and has an April court hearing on felony theft charges. The scheme by the woman apparently went on for several months, the Associated Press reported. The investigators say that her crime cost the gas station almost $28,000.
$28,000? That's like half a tank. Am I right, fellas? Get it? Because gas is expensive these days. That's what we in the business call a topical joke. I'll be here all night. Be sure to tip your waitresses.
Thank you, Lathan.
Yay.
So the company claimed to be unaware of a glitch that let people swipe a rewards card twice to put a gas pump into demonstration mode. Why would a gas pump need to be in demonstration mode? It's like
Great question.
It's a gas pump. Like, what did you anyway? Which allows a customer to pump gas for free. One card was used multiple times to get free gas, and authorities traced the card to the woman who was spotted on video pumping gas on several visits between November 2022 and June 1st, 2023. During that time, the woman used the rewards card 510 times and pumped more than 7,400 gallons.
I hope she was filling up other people's tanks too. God bless. So stealing is wrong. However, if you haven't figured out the glitch after 4 fucking months, all right, guys, if you haven't figured this out after a week and a half, 10 days, that's on you. Like, I don't see this woman committed a crime, but I do see that she found a loophole and exploited it severely.
Everyone loves
but
a loophole. Everyone loves a loophole.
Everyone loves a loophole.
But for more on this story, we are going to throw it to our brand new member of the Waffle Box team, our on-the-street reporter, Kenneth Noisewater. Kenneth, what have you found out?
Thanks, Mike. I'm standing here in Lincoln, Nebraska, a city known for being named after famed professional wrestler turned United States President Abraham Lincoln. Unfortunately, we don't actually have much information about this woman. Her name has yet to be released by the local police department, but what we can presume is that, judging by her actions, she totally spends most of her free time sitting in the kitchen cutting coupons out of the local paper, whilst listening to her stories on the wireless. Also, according to local news stations in the area, she has been accused of sharing her rewards card with another woman to get free gas, but for a fee. So, unknown woman, if you're guilty of anything, it's for being a damn fine entrepreneur, and for that, we salute you. This is Kenneth Noisewater, reporting for Waffle Box News. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you. Fine work. Fine work, if you ask me. So
I'd
yeah,
like to
she
know
was.
what
She was letting
region
other people
Kenneth
use
is
it.
from, because the wireless is not a term I'm familiar with. Is that
I guess it's
is that
like
a radio?
It's like a
cell
radio
phone?
with batteries in it, I guess, rather than it being plugged into
Oh, okay.
a wireless.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
know.
well, Kenneth Noisewater from Liverpool.
Maybe. I don't really ask questions when I'm interviewing for this position. Just far too busy. And
You might
lazy.
want to do that, but anyway.
So yeah, she was sharing the card around. She was, which
And charging for it.
and
Good for
charging
her.
for it. So she's smart.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad at that. So good. God bless. God bless her. Unknown. I wish I knew her name, because then we could.
Yeah, gas is over $5 a gallon.
That would go fund me
so
for legal fees or something.
I am not mad at that. And guess what? Her actions did not cause the gas prices to go to $5 a gallon. So I am not mad at this.
I don't understand gas prices. All jokes. I don't understand how that works. It's like from day to day. Surely it's like one day I'd go and it's like $3, and then it's $3.30 and $3.50 or $2.99. It's like, how is it day by day? It doesn't make any sense. But whatever. Is it like stocks? I don't know.
A little bit. It's a supply and demand thing. Also, all of our
I
gas,
demand you supply me the gas, sir.
well said. Again, all of our oil and gas comes from overseas. We have a huge stockpile here, but for whatever reason, that's not available to Americans. I don't know if we're selling it back
the
to
zombie
the Europeans
apocalypse
or the Middle Easterners, but yeah, there it is.
There it is. Finally, in the top stories this week, we got some late breaking news in the entertainment world, or have we? Because earlier today, as we're recording this, news reports were flying around that maybe we've finally found our new James Bond in Aaron Taylor Johnson, who
I don't like it.
Who was in Kick-Ass. He was in Kick-Ass. He was Pietro Maximo
in Avengers 2 Avenge, 2 Vers.
And in possibly my favorite role for his, I haven't watched them all, but my favorite role of his was Tangerine in Bullet Train. He was very good in Bullet Train, I thought.
Yeah, he's good in Bullet Train.
But
I did not know that ATJ was English. When he was in Bullet Train, he had an accent. I was like, oh, that's a very nice accent he's doing there. I wonder how long it took him to achieve that. Apparently, maybe it was still a fake accent, but yeah, apparently he is British. I did not know.
But then
But then,
a couple of hours ago, apparently E News is reporting that, in fact, he hasn't been offered the role.
no.
But it's not to say he won't be offered it. But apparently, so we don't know. We're still no clearer. But yeah, what's your initial thoughts when you heard ATJ was apparently going to be the new Bond?
So I know that the source is the Sun, which is a tabloid out of the United Kingdom. So
Ugh.
tabloid automatically means it's not real.
Yeah, it's if you don't know what a Sun is, it's basically like if you run out
The
of toilet
National
roll,
Enquirer.
then I guess you'll wipe your ass with it. But other than that, that's as much as it's worth. It's total dog shit.
That's a good analogy. Let's just say it was going to be real. I don't like it. I think he might be a little too old for the role, but also just
Too old?
he
Isn't he like in his
just
30s?
a little too old. Just a little too old. He's also kind of a name. He's been in when Daniel Craig was handpicked, he had a resume, but the biggest thing he did was that movie with Tom Hanks where he was a gangster, Road to Perdition. But no one knew who the fuck Daniel Craig was before he was James Bond. That's just a fact. Lots of people know who Aaron Taylor Johnson is. I think when we get to the next James Bond, pretty sure it's going to be a white guy. However, I think it needs to be a no-name actor. If we have to have a name, okay. I like Henry Golding. However, Henry Golding is the guy from Crazy Rich Asians. He was also
Henry,
in
what's
Guy
his name?
Ritchie's The Jet. Henry Golding.
Golding.
He is a Euro Asian,
Oh,
handsome
yeah.
bloke.
He's got the face structure for a James Bond. I could see that. I could
Yeah,
see that.
right. He'd be a great James Bond. I think he might have a little too much polish on his name, but like, and based on the Idris Elba rumors,
I'm still holding out for that. I would love for Idris Elba to be.
Idris Elba would be a great James Bond, but I'm going back to the one, too old. Two,
Yeah.
Based on some random ass Twitter suggestion, that man faced so much racism and backlash. And then someone just like, wouldn't it be cool if Idris Elba was James Bond and the world lost their fucking mind? By the way, we still had 2 more Daniel Craig movies to get through before this was even going to be like a conversation. And that always perplexed me the last decade. Like we still have 2 more Daniel Craig movies before we even get to the next guy. Like, why are we talking about this? And it's because of that. Idris Elba's like, there's no fucking way in hell I want to be James Bond. Ew. he literally said ew, like a 16-year-old girl. Do you remember the guy who played James Bond only once? His Majesty's Secret Service. I keep forgetting his name.
No, I don't.
That's okay. You know what I'm talking about. He did 1 movie as opposed to Timothy Dalton, who did 2 movies.
It was George Lazenby.
George Lazenby had a semi-biographical documentary about him. Is less than 10 years ago, but it got into his whole role as James Bond. And he's like, they made me sign a thing called a slave contract. It was literally in the banner, slave contract, where like the entire time he's doing this for X number of weeks, months, years, he has to have his hair cut a certain way. He has to wear a certain watch. He has to dress a certain way. And by the way, at this point in time, George Lazenby is just a British hippie. He's having fun just smoking pot and banging models, which being James Bond will help greatly, but still, he didn't want to do that. So as soon as His Majesty's Secret Service came out, and by the way, he never signed the contract, started doing his media appearances, just full beard, shaggy hippie hair. Like he did everything he could to get out of it, and then he was not James Bond anymore. Great movie, by the way. I forget what it's called, but it was on Hulu once upon a time. But if you can search that out, it's a good movie.
One of the suggestions that I did like was I don't know, I apologize to pronounce his name, but it's like Reggie Jean Page, the guy from Bridgerton.
That's the guy who's playing Lupin, right?
No.
No.
Although Lupin, that'd be a pretty good one. But no, he was like the main heartthrob in Bridgerton.
Black guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's in Dungeons and Dragons. Yes.
He has a
Yes.
good like look about him.
Yes.
But like I say, he's not pale. If you get
not
my
pale.
gist. He's not pale.
Um,
When I was like looking on Twitter, which is always a place to go to when you want sane and rational opinions on things. But when they were talking about Aaron ATJ, we'll call him, when that was in it, one of the first comments was like, "Oh, I'm so glad they didn't cave and get a black man to do it." It's like it's just like I don't want to be this liberal fairy pairy snowflake kind of guy, but just like how racist have you got to be when you're getting upset that there might be a chance that a fictional character might be played by a black like it's different. Like I could understand like if they took like if suddenly they cast Idris Elba as Elton John in the biopic, I could understand people going, "That's a bit weird. Why are they doing that?" But
I'm not mad at that, actually.
it would be a fun movie to see. I'm saying,
It'd be a great movie.
But I'm just saying, like devil's advocate, I can understand why people would be a bit what?
Sure.
Why they got a black man playing it? But it's a fake fucking character. And also, I haven't read the books, but I'm almost certain that nowhere in the literature does it state that James Bond is a white man. I could be wrong, but it'd be a weird thing to put in there.
You might be wrong there, but still,
who cares? Who cares?
Who cares? I agree. Who cares? If they can do the job, and if we gotta get fucking all antsy fancy and uptight about, the character should be Scottish, working for MI6. Otherwise, who gives a shit? Guess what? There are black people in Scotland. There are black people in England. There are black people in California.
China.
China. There's a lot of black people in China now. Holy shit. So
one thing I did draw a line. I was having this conversation with my mother one day. I remember this was like quite a while ago. And I was like, why? Let's just say she was on the has to be a white person bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
Bless her. And I was like, well, I don't see why it matters, blah, 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 blah. And then she said, oh, but maybe it could be a woman. I was like, wait. So you're upset with James Bond being a black guy, but you're happy with James Bond being a woman?
Yeah. So we kind of went through this already with the very last James Bond, No Time to Die.
It's called Jane Bond. I don't give a shit. 007 is a code name, so it can be anyone.
Being a black female. And
it's a code name. It's not a thing. So it could be anyone.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm sure there is examples of someone, but maybe I'm just old fashioned. But James is a boy's name. I don't know. It seems a bit weird.
I mean, it's such a weird time where James can now be a woman's name too. Why? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm being old fashioned there too.
But I think the moral of the story is it's a fake character. As long as it's a good actor, I don't give a fuck.
I'm excited about your Regé-Jean Page submission. He'd be a really good James Bond, and I think he's young enough to be James Bond.
He's young. He has that secret agent-y look about him, and he's got that sex appeal to him, which obviously James Bond's
he's got that charisma, dude. Yeah, where it makes you go like, oh my god, is there something about me I don't know? Oh my god.
Or maybe if they can't find one good James Bond, how about the next James Bond movie gets called James Bond Across the Bondiverse? Multiple James Bonds.
So that's been a movie already, actually.
Oh. Damn it.
Where I think it's a Peter Sellers movie. I want to say it's the first. I don't think it's Dr. No. I think there's 3 Casino Royales.
Oh, you're talking about the non-official James Bond ones, right?
There was like a made for
Casino
TV.
Royale and Never Say Never Again.
Well, no, there's Casino Royale and then there's Casino Royale. There's one with
Casino
Sean
Royale
Connery,
was
with Sean Connery, and then
no
there's one with
Casino
Daniel Craig.
Royale
Are you
was
looking at the IMDb right now? What are
yes,
you
I
doing?
am.
Okay,
Casino
cool.
Royale was in 1967, starring David Niven as James
Okay,
Bond.
okay. That's who I'm talking about.
And then there was Casino Royale, who had the last guy,
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig.
So the David Niven movie, there's a scene where like 5 dudes are James Bond, but it's not a part of the Broccoli family lineage,
Oh
so
yeah,
it
so
doesn't
they've
count.
so yeah,
And it was more of a
cast
comedy. It was closer to Austin Powers before Austin Powers became a thing.
Peter Sellers played Evelyn Tremble,
Okay,
aka
yeah.
James
I know
Bond.
Peters.
Ursula Andress played Vesper Lind, who was also a James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
David Niven was Sir James Bond, who I think he was the legendary one, maybe. Joanna Petit was Mata Bond, Bond's daughter. But yeah, okay, yeah. So there's lots of Bonds, lots of Bonds. But no, they're all kind of. I'm talking about like some sci-fi shit.
You want to bring like Roger Moore and Daniel Craig and Timothy Dalton
I mean, if they're still alive, fuck it.
most of them aren't alive anymore, but we still have CGI and AI.
No, we don't want to bring that into it. Don't besmirch the good name. But it could be like Doctor Who, where like all the old James Bond come back, help save the day, and then they kind of pass the torch to the new James Bond.
Again,
I know that's not what
was
happens
that
in
movie already.
Doctor Who.
But sure.
But there you go. So I was all excited before we hit record that, we're finally, after all this time, we finally find out who the new James Bond is. And now technically we're no closer than we were yesterday.
You know, when the last James Bond movie, No Time to Die, came out, there was a lot of speculation again. Who's going to be James Bond? Are we ever going to see another James Bond? Spoiler alert for those who didn't see No Time to Die. James Bond actually gets blown the fuck up. It's kind of shocking, actually. Like, wow, they really did that to James Bond? Crazy. However, in a world where the theatrical audience has been conditioned to stay throughout the credits, hoping for an after credit scene, almost no one did. However, as at the end of every James Bond movie, that little title popped up saying, James Bond will return. And so many people missed that to when I was just like, yeah, we're going to get there's another movie coming, guys. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. I'm sure there's going to be another white guy too. And they're like, what? How can you be so sure? And I was like, about the white guy or about the next movie? At the end of the credits, it says James Bond will return.
It literally says at the end of the movie, there's going to be another movie. That's how I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Was James Bond the first movies to do that? Because I know the Marvel universe, they do that.
Well,
so is that a nod to James Bond, you reckon?
Yes.
Like,
When
Doctor
the Marvel
Strange
movies
will
did
return.
it, it's a nod to James Bond. When James Bond did it, it was kind of a throwback to the old serial days. Like, tune in next week for Flash Gordon. Or Flash Gordon will go on another adventure.
Like that. Just
that's your 1940s meme face.
God bless it. But yeah, so yeah, let us know in the comments who you want to be the next James Bond, and if it is going to be in-depth ATJ. What are your thoughts on that?
I was saying Henry Golden, but I'm really voting for Reggie Jean Paul now.
Oh, I saw kind of Henry Cavill. No,
Henry Cavill is too old now, and he's done so many spy movies. He does not need to be James Bond. He's done 5 spy movies now,
and he was Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, so
I thought he was a good Sherlock Holmes.
I didn't watch Enola Holmes, so if you say he was good, I take your word for it. Henry Cavill is a dork, so I bet he was all into playing Sherlock Holmes.
He's been in a Sherlock Holmes movie now. I'm excited. I love that. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about people who are out there achieving things with their lives. And to prove it, they've got a nice certificate after St. Patrick's Day from an Irish brewery. It's now time for this week's Dumb World Record of the Week.
Why?
Why? Why would I? Why? Why?
Why? Why? Why? Why? Why would you want to do that?
This week's dumb world record takes us to the Ukraine. Although I don't actually know if the record was broken in the Ukraine, but it's broken by a Ukrainian man, so we'll give credit where credit is due. Shout out to the Ukraine, where this man put the power of his beard to the test to break a Guinness World Record. Dmitro Hurinsky, broke the record for heaviest vehicle pulled by a beard.
I desire to know more intensifies.
So he originally attempted the record in 2019, but failed when his beard hairs were pulled out of his chin from the strain. Ow.
Yeah, funny how that all happened. How long is this beard?
So then he grew his beard longer for his second attempt and experimented with different braiding techniques to maximize the strength of his facial hair. And he was finally successful and used his chin whiskers to pull a 5,687 pound minibus, breaking the previous world record of 4,303 pounds.
Wow, quite a gap there. Quite a gap.
Yeah, like what? That's again. Yeah, why?
Are you seriously trying to find logic from a man that pulls trucks with his beard? The dude is obviously not a rocket scientist.
Well, we
don't know that.
Lathan.
We don't know that.
He clearly figured out the physics about I need a longer beard, I need to tie it differently, and then I need to pull it a certain way. So he might be a rocket scientist, or at least a physicist.
But I will say, like, if I'm attempting this record and my first attempt, my beard gets pulled from my face.
Mm-hmm.
If the previous world record is 4,303 pounds, I'm going, hey, can we find a bus that's 4,304 pounds? Like, why go the extra 1,300 pounds, which is what, over half a ton?
Mm-hmm. Early adapters of the Waffle Box will remember when I had my pandemic beard. It was much longer than this. In fact, it went all the way down to like right here.
It did.
I liked the way it looked, but two things I hated was when I would comb it, parts of the beard would start pulling out, and this is just a little comb. This comb, in fact, or there we go. Like it's
for those watching and listening on audio version, he is holding up a tiny comb.
It's maybe 3 inches long, and it is not very thick. And by the way, like boom, we would pull all sorts of whiskers out. So, but that took us like 3 years to grow. And then there was a funeral, and I was like, let's get rid of this stupid fucking thing. And also, it got thinner because things kept getting pulled out. So the fact that this guy tried it once and lost most of his beard, then grew it back, and then achieved his goal by 1,300 pounds, bear in mind. Like, I gotta wonder, like, how much time passed in between attempt 1 and attempt 2? And then, like, is he pulling it back like this, or is or has he got the beard going back this way? Folks were like, you're walking forward.
But in the story, it does say his previous attempt was in 2019.
Okay,
so 4 or 5 years, depending on when in 2019 it was.
Honestly, man, like, how thick was this beard already?
It's gotta be
again. This is where I would love us to, like, producer Lathan. I would love it if you supplied a video or a photo or anything. I've been asking for this for 180 plus episodes now. But anyway, you do you, AI guy.
Also, side note, if you want to get your beard nice and long, I mean, mine's not super long right now, but it's getting back.
You trimmed it up.
I need to trim it again because it's getting towards spring now. We're officially in spring, so I need to trim it down for the summer ones. But you need to get some shampoo and conditioner special for the beard.
keep the dandruff off?
Oh,
Because I'm not a fan of that.
If they want to sponsor, Grave Before Shave is a great company, and they
Grave
have
Before Shave.
specialized shampoo and conditioner, which I would use on my beard. And then once you do that, I obviously towel dry it a little bit, and then get the blow dryer, and then while the blow
Fascinating.
dryer's in there, combing it through, and it's smooth, and it goes
Feels like a lot of extra
cuts
work.
through my
but
beard
okay.
like butter, and it's like no tangles.
I didn't know that was a
whatsoever.
thing we had to do. Okay. Okay. See, I just learned something tonight, folks.
And if you really want to get, you got the beard balms or the oils. That you
I don't
kinda
want to
go
do all
for.
that shit. I just want my beard to be my beard. God damn it.
I just want to be my beard. But yeah, I mean, hey, you know, if you want to comb it and not be tangled, you don't want to comb it and get your comb stuck in there. Sometimes you gotta put the work in, Kush.
The only thing that was worse than the things coming out when I would comb it is waking up at 3 a.m. because my beard shot up my nose.
Yes.
I'm not a light. I'm a very light sleeper. I am not a sound sleeper. I do the tossing and the turning, which is probably why I'm single, and one of many reasons why I'm single. But guess what? At 3 a.m, I wake up and goddamn, I got whiskers all the way up my nose. I'm like, I can't breathe now. That doesn't feel good. And now
Yeah,
I'm
I
awake.
have to trim mine because like it goes in my mouth, so I have to trim
Okay.
it again.
Interesting. This has been Beard Talk with Mike and Kush.
But also, we're going to switch this up, right? Before we head into the break, real quick. You said about being a light sleeper and things like that.
All the tossing and the turning.
Or tossing and turning.
Giggity, 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 goo.
Right? So last night, for the first time that I remember, so I'm not one that normally remembers dreams. I don't know about you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But last night was the first time I was inceptioned.
Oh.
I had a dream within a dream.
Oh, I've done that.
And but it was so like realistic. Like so at one point, so I was working out in the field as I do in my real life, and I knew I had to get home by 6 o'clock for my Zoom call for the accountant, which is what happened in life. And so I was like, oh, it's 5 o'clock. I better head home. And then as I was walking towards the car seemed like getting further and further away. And so I started running for the car, and I was reaching for my car keys, and my car it fell out of my pocket. So I had to stop, and I couldn't like get the car keys, and then I couldn't reach the car. And then I woke up. I was like,
Okay.
I woke up. Oh my God. Oh, it's just a dream. And so then I started walking around my apartment, and like for some reason my office was a little bit askew, so I started putting things back together again, and then suddenly there was water everywhere, and I looked up and my ceiling was leaking. I was like, what the fuck, why is my ceiling leaking? So I got my phone out, and I was about to phone the landlord to let them know, but then as I got the phone out and I was about to hit dial, my phone started ringing, and so I answered the phone, and there was a voice on the other end that said, is this Michael? And I said, yes, this is Michael. And then I woke up again, and it was like, okay, is this really, am I awake now? Is this what the fuck? It was so weird. It took me like 5 minutes to get my bearings again. I was like, wait, I needed that little spinny thing that Leonardo DiCaprio. I was like, am I still dreaming? It was very bizarre. It was the first time it might have happened before, but I just didn't remember it. But
Sure.
The dream within the dream was very bizarre. Very bizarre.
I don't remember every dream I've had, but I remember a lot of dreams I've had, and I've had a few repeats. So I've had the dream within the dream, but that's been so long since I've had one of those things. It's not a thing. I have had a reoccurring dream where I am attempted to have a cigarette. I then given to my temptation. It's been almost a decade now, folks. And then at first I'm like, oh, I really wish I didn't have that cigarette. Oh, well, feels really good. Let's have a couple more. And then I wake up and I'm like, did I just have a cigarette? Oh, thank God. No, I didn't. But damn, that was a great dream. Recently, and I can only attribute this to a combination of some edible gummies and some bourbon. like it's a very weird specific combination. This has never happened in the last 45 years of my life before, like maybe 3 months ago, where it's not the same dream so much as it is I'm in the same location repeatedly. What location? I don't know, but it feels like I'm in the Mike, I don't know if you have a reference for this, and I'm gonna just guess you don't. But I feel like I'm in some sort of like condo slash cabin from Lake Tahoe, Nevada, but I'm in the Sunset District of San Francisco, which is right by the beach. Um, I'm usually trying to elude somebody, but sometimes I'm just also like, hey, let's just explore the neighborhood, whatever. But this has been a thing for like 2 or 3 months now when I have this one specific combination of edibles and maybe bourbon.
Have you ever had a lucid dream?
Yes. Most recently, I have a lot of lucid dreams.
That's the one where you're in the dream, but you're kind of aware that you're in the dream, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Most recently, an old friend of mine who I ceased to engage with anymore, just because he ain't there with everybody else, man. He's angry, and it's not fun to be around him. And I haven't talked to him in at least a decade. And my man showed up in my dreams, threatened to kill me, and I was like, I got to get away from this motherfucker. And then I don't know how we do this in the dream, but I just went like, I'm out of here, and I teleported to another location, and he was gone. And I was like, cool.
Damn.
I haven't been able to do that since maybe the third grade. I've only done that a handful of times where, again, it was very lucid, where it's like, oh, I know I'm in a dream. Fuck this scene. Let's go to the next scene. I'm out.
So jealous. So I only know about that because I was doing a lot of research with that after my inception moment. And I tried to work out what's the psychological meaning of the dream inside of a dream, and then it starts like the one article I read is like, maybe this just means you have
I think maybe you've just seen too many movies, which might be my thing too.
Talk to ghosts and spirits and say, oh, fuck off. But
not impossible.
I don't believe I can speak to dead.
Not yet. We can get you there.
I mean, it'd be pretty cool if I could.
It'd be pretty neat. Or it could be terrible.
I mean, it depends who I'm talking to. Because as they all saying, so don't be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, right.
Then it's like, oh, I wish I could talk to dead people, and then I go into the kitchen and it's like Stalin sitting there. It's oh, fuck off, really? You're the one I got. Oh, stop being a dick.
How amazing would that be if the ghost of Stalin was just in your kitchen in New Jersey?
Yeah,
like what are you doing?
Speak English? That'd be
and
miserable.
He speaks English.
Oh, he speaks. I speak to dead people. Really? Yeah, he speaks Russian though. I have no fucking idea what he's talking about. Was he Russian or did he start?
He was Russian.
He was Russian. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Some dead Russian guy
he's still on
jabbing
display.
behind you. Fuck off.
He's still on display in Red Square, if that's even a thing anymore.
Good for him. Anyway, I don't know how we got from. Well, look at that. Oh, I didn't even realize we started off talking about a Ukrainian strongman, and now I'm fucking bringing up Stalin. My bad. Oh, apologies to the Ukrainian people. Didn't mean to associate a Russian horrible person.
Well,
with
Stalin
going on, but there you go.
1950s Stalin and 2020s Ukraine are two different things. So yeah, I don't think they're going to be mad at you. Couple of the elderly Waffle Box guys, as they're on their deathbed, like, I remember Stalin, and they flatline.
By the way, congratulations to Vladimir Putin for winning another election after running against
so he did win
no one.
shit.
Who'd have seen that coming?
Was he not up against any? Was there a second candidate?
If you read the stories, there was one fella that was pretty popular running against him, and then he's dead. How did that happen?
I think it's very cute that they even allow the option of like, yeah, we'll let you re-elect somebody or elect a whole new person. Sure.
It's like the old the Italian mobsters still do that accent. Say, hey, yeah, hey, you can vote for the other guy. It'd be a real shame if you did. I'm just saying, but you can. I'm not saying anything would have happened to you if you vote for this guy, but it'd be a real shame if it did, right? You see what I'm saying?
They do those tactics with a lot of more Russian and vodka breath. Yes.
It'll be a real shame. Like,
it'd be a real shame if you not vote for Vladimir Putin.
If you vote for him, cousin Vinny will come make a visit.
So our accents are stupid.
You do not want cousin Vinny coming over. He crazy. And on that note, it's now time to take a break. Take a breather.
Let's take a
Still
break.
to come.
Time out.
On this week's Waffle Box, we got a special tag team edition of Celebrity Battle Royale. Kush is going to try to once again to not crap out. What's the word when you go over 21 on Blackjack?
Oh, bust.
Bust. Yeah, he's trying to not go bust in this week's birthday Blackjack. Plus, After the King and much more. So stick around if you would after this short break.
Pretty please.
Morning, itty bitty. Just what I need. Another little bald guy.
Pac-Man's moving up to a whole new world. Pac-Man World 20th Anniversary in 3D. The star's big new adventure.
PlayStation.
It's now time for the middle of the show quiz.
Hey, welcome back to Waffle Box, episode 142. It's the middle of the show, so if you ask me, it's the perfect time to play the middle of the show quiz. Birthday Blackjack. If you are not familiar with this segment, it's your first time watching it, what are you doing? You have about 141 weeks of your life, you crazy chimp. What I do is I highlight 5 celebrities who celebrated a birthday in the past week. And Kush has to guess how old they are now. And typical Blackjack rules. So let's just say he guesses 55 and they're 52. 3-year difference, he scores 3. And throughout the 5, he has to stay 21 or below. Nice and simple, right?
Sounds simple.
Let's find out who celebrated their birthday this week.
Number 1.
We need new music for this.
Why?
I don't like it.
You don't like it? I just feel like I'm in a Western.
I know, and we're not in a Western, but that's okay. That's okay.
I feel happy.
Number 1.
There's a nice old guy just sitting in the corner playing the piano. He only knows one song, bless him, but everyone's too nice to say anything. Oh, fuck, I gotta explain this song again. Jesus. That's Sam. He's been playing this stuff for 68 years. Number one. Gymnast, since this is an Olympic year. Gymnast Simone Biles celebrated her birthday on March 14th. How old did she turn, Kush?
I know that name. Is this the lady who went to the Olympics and then went, I'm not competing in the Olympics because of stress? Or is this a different lady?
No, yep, that might be the stress lady. Yep.
This might be the stress lady. If this is the stress lady, then she is like, what was the Olympics, 4 years ago? But she is 21.
She turned 28.
Oh, okay. Well, good for her. They're usually much younger.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's old for a gymnast. It's like past retirement. That's like, she was only 2 days away from retirement. Too old for this shit. Anyway, number 2.
Number 2.
So I got 7 points.
7 points.
7 points. All right.
Celebrating her birthday March 15th, actress Eva Longoria.
Pretty lady.
I tapped my button on my desk. Oh, there we go. Up, down. There we go. So yeah, how old is Eva Longoria now? Even though you should never ask women her age.
You should never ask a woman her age, and you should never tell her this over a microphone. She is 48.
48. She's 50 now. 50.
Okay.
Hey. 50
Good
is
looking
new
50, though.
30.
Fuck.
I mean, yeah. Not to be, but I would. Anyway, number 3.
Number 3.
Celebrating his birthday on March 18th, musician Adam Levine of Maroon 5. He's got the moves like Jagger. He got the moves like Jagger. He got the
Is he the dude that's also touring with Queen now?
No, that's Adam Lambert.
Oh, fucking hell.
He's
Adam
also
Levine
a
is-
judge on, I think, The Voice. Or he was. I don't know if he still is.
I don't want you to know that shit.
He gets to press the
30
button on the spin shit.
He's 38.
He's 38. He turned 45.
Ooh.
That's another 7. So congratulations.
Up to 17.
16.
16? Oh, good for me.
There's still a little wiggle room. Still a little wiggle room.
But number 4.
Number 4.
4. Actor Bruce Willis, who celebrated his birthday March 19th.
69. I literally just saw the Variety article.
Giggity, 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 goo.
Yep, he is 69 years old.
Which gives me a -5.
What?
Oh, you don't remember that rule? You were that drunk. Holy shit.
When did we come up with this rule?
Last week.
Oh yeah,
I hit
last
2
week.
of those.
We recorded
Last week I hit 2 celebrities right on the button, and we just ran with it. But at the end, I was like, "Hey man, next time I do that, where I hit it right on the button, you got to give me like a -5." And you're like, "Okay, next week we'll do that."
I don't know. I'm gonna have to
in the
go
video
back, check the
archives,
tape here. But if you do remember, I believe the next day I did text you apologizing for how drunk I was last week.
I mean, you hit it well. I think there was a minute where I was like, "Hey man, get back on subject." But like it wasn't anything compared to the week prior. But by the way, Kush Hayes has been drunk on this show multiple times. We're like, fuck Steven Spielberg.
But yeah, this week I decided, after my last performance last week and the week before that, I figured, let's
Yeah,
wait
you
till
still
we
on
hit
your
record to
-5.
start.
You
All right, yeah,
agreed
all
to
right, I'll allow it this week. I'm going to check the tape. I probably won't.
check.
But,
Why would I lie to you?
but I'm gonna allow it. So that puts you down to 11 now. So you got a good bit of wiggle room now. That
We've done this
wiggle-
game literally like 20 weeks. Why would I just make this up?
I think this might be the 5th week. But anyway, doesn't matter. Number 5.
Oh,
Number 5.
All right, number 5.
Born on this very day, March 20th, unless you're not listening to this on the day of the release, but whatever. March 20th, former MMA fighter and former UFC, I think, light heavyweight champion. I could be wrong. Anyway, doesn't matter. Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier celebrates birthday today.
Yeah,
How
he's up
old
there.
is he?
I want to say he's 50.
He is 45. Just gained those 5 points back, scoring 16, which means this week, Kush, you're a winner.
You win.
But to be fair, also, what's really cool is if we didn't institute that -5 rule, you'd have hit 21 bang on.
Oh, nice. Should we have
Boom.
another rule for when I hit 21 specifically? Like,
What?
I don't know, like you have
Give
to
you
like
a lap dance or something?
at least a sparkler on your end there.
I think
You'll have to get some sparklers later. Like,
I think I might have some.
oh, you might have a sparkler. Taking a minute here, folks.
Is it
Mike.
gonna be safe for me to put a sparkler in this room? I don't know.
It'll be smoky, I wouldn't do it this moment, but we can make it safe.
I'd have to open up a window and everything. But no,
You would have to open up a
I don't
window
know how,
for sure.
do they go out a date? They've been in, I think they've been in there a couple of years. I don't know. But I do have like a
They might have a shelf date. They might have a shelf life. Yeah. But
yeah,
still,
I don't want to burn the place.
We didn't
down.
hit 21 tonight. We hit 16. All right.
Right.
I'm more worried about the tag team tournament coming up here.
Oh yeah. It's now time to pit 8 this week. 8 celebrities in the ring to the death in this week's Celebrity Battle Royale.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Yes, it's time for this week's Celebrity Battle Royale, where with this week's special edition, we are pitting 4 celebrity tag teams.
4 of them.
Against each other, and Kush has to decide one by one in which order they get eliminated and who gets crowned this week's Celebrity Battle Royal Tag Team Champions of the World. So obviously everyone knows this. March 20th is National Proposal Day. Duh.
Everyone knows that.
So what I've done is found 4 famous TV show couples.
Oh.
So it's not only is it tag team, it's intergender tag team.
Oh, interesting. So like, are we talking like Ross and Rachel, or like the actual celebrities that are engaged to each other?
We are talking about the characters that were
okay. So Ross and Rachel.
So Ross and Rachel would be an example, but they're not in this.
Okay, but that's okay too. I'm not mad at that.
So our 4 tag teams this week are Marshall and Lily from How I Met Your Mother.
They were a cute couple.
Contestant number 2, Jim and Pam from The Office.
Nice.
Tag team number 3, Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Which Aunt Viv?
We are going to go with the second one.
Ooh.
Because she, I think, if I remember correctly, she was in it for the longest one. But the second one was the longest one, right?
I want to say the first one was the longest, but not important. Not important.
So
Aunt Viv version 2.
Viv V2. And tag team number 3, Ben and Leslie from Parks and Recreation. So for those keeping score at home, it's Marshall and Lily from How I Met Your Mother, Jim and Pam from The Office, Phil and Viv from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Viv V2, and Ben and Leslie from Parks and Recreation.
So I didn't watch a lot
before we find out what the viewers have thought, Kush, take it away.
So I don't know Parks and Rec a lot. I know Ron Swanson. I know his assistant, whose name is escaping me. But Ben and Lily isn't a name I know.
Leslie Nopes was the main.
Well, that's even worse.
The main character. Did you just drop your drink?
I just dropped a bottle. I didn't drop my drink, but I dropped a bottle. That's okay though.
Is the liquid flowing onto the floor?
Thankfully, no. No. We have caps for that stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah, positive stuff here. You know, a lot of people are thinking Jim and Pam are going to come out of this. However, they're too vanilla. They're very likable, but they're still too vanilla. You know, well, they're also unfocused. They do have a kid together, but they're just anyways. Phil and Aunt Viv version 2 take them out the kneecaps and they just massacre them there. Ben and Leslie try and sneak up on Phil and Aunt Viv, and no, they ain't having that. They get overwhelmed as well because, well, quite frankly, I don't know who those hoes are. However, while it isn't necessarily Marshall because he's the beta, it is Lily who snaps the necks of both Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv doing some Krav Maga, capoeira, taekwondo shit. And your winners are Marshall and Lily. Also, Marshall is now forever stunted and is questioning who his wife is and has to go to therapy for decades while they still continue to raise their children. Too afraid to divorce her after all that.
And then he travels to Hawaii and meets Mila Kunis and lives happily ever after. And writes a musical
way too old for that shit. I like the reference to that movie.
Still a great movie. Still a great movie.
So let's take it. Better than that movie is a single song on the. No, stupid. Shut up. What's better than that movie is a single song on that soundtrack, which is a Polynesian cover of Sinead O'Connor / Prince's "Nothing Compares to You." It's just all done in ukulele and spoken in Polynesian, and
the soundtrack to that movie is very good. I will give you that. All right, let's take it to the poll on Twitter. So the viewers agree in that with 0% of the vote. Jim and Pam, they're out first.
Oh.
Then your eventual winners, Marshall and Lily from How I Met Your Mother, came in third with only 20% of the votes. Ben and Leslie finished second with 30% of the votes, but with 50% of the votes, Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv B2 was the viewer's choice for the win this week.
I mean, Uncle Phil's very top heavy. He's very strong, dude. Like he could carry a car
throw
with
out
his...
jazz every week. He's and Aunt Viv, don't fuck with Aunt Viv.
Aunt Viv's an athlete. Aunt Viv version 1 was an athlete. She was a professional dancer once upon a time. And Uncle Phil, if he grew his beard long enough, that motherfucker could carry a yacht. Forget a car, forget a bus. That man would carry a yacht with his beard.
6,000-pound one.
Yeah, that's probably not even the lightest one. Anyways, so I get why people would pick Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv. But yeah, no, I stand by it. But Lily is the alpha in that, and she's very quick, she's very nimble, and yeah, because of Lily, Marshall wins.
Would agree to disagree.
Yeah, well, the people have spoken. So, but I get why they picked Phil and Viv.
Size matters.
Giggity, 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 go.
Doesn't hurt.
All right, let's move along and let's do a segment in which Kush reviews a movie.
Oh my god!
Yep, it's your time to shine again. In a segment that we like to call Kush's Movie Review.
Kush's Movie Review.
This week on Kush's Movie Review, we're talking about Arthur the King, a story of a young man who finds a sword stuck into a big stone, and then with the help of his dog, everyone else is trying to get this sword out of the stone, but no one can do it. But this kid, he just pulls it out and shoo, like easy. He pulls out the knife, and then everyone says, "Wow, you are the King of England." The end.
Oh, are you done there? Okay. Yeah. No one has come up with that joke before you. Outstanding.
I bet.
We are talking about Arthur the King. It is a soft PG-13. It is 90 flat minutes. I'm not gonna lie. While I wouldn't say let's remove any time from it, it feels a little longer. It did, but maybe that's just the advertisements at the Regal. Anyways, this is directed by a man named Simon Celon Jones. He did a Mark Wahlberg family film just before this, but other than that, he does a lot of TV. A couple full features and TV are few and far in between. So he does mainly TV, but he got this movie, and honestly, I think he did a good job. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. This is written by it's adapted by a man named Michael Brandt, and it's based on a true story by another man named Michael Linnord. Michael spelled with a K, not a CH. And the book is called
Madness.
Madness, right? He's very Eastern European. Anyway,
okay, that makes sense. They love caves
Arthur,
over there.
the dog who crossed the jungle to find a home, is what the book is originally titled. This stars Mark Wahlberg,
Marky
Simu
Mark.
Liu, Natalia Emanuel, and a gentleman you've never heard of named Ali Suleiman. And then Uki is the dog that plays Arthur. And I'm surprised that there's only one credit for Arthur, because normally there's like 4 or 5 of these dogs on set. So this is about Mark Wahlberg's character, again, based on a true story. He's involved in a lot of those Iron Man competitions. This one's a triathlon where it involves swimming, running, and biking. I mean, the way the rules are is you have to get from A to B. There are 10 checkpoints in between, but you choose however you get there. There's a map. Here's where everything is. Figure out how to get there the fastest. And most folks follow a route. Some folks take shortcuts. That can be a benefit. That can be a detriment. At the beginning of the film, we see them take a shortcut, and it goes south immediately, to the point where like one person in their quad literally needs like an IV, is just immediately dehydrated, pulling a kayak through the mud. It's not pretty. It's pretty embarrassing. One of the rules is if an IV is involved, you're benched for 4 hours minimum. If that person needs longer, well, then they need longer, but you're penalized 4 hours, so you can't move. That will come up later in the film. So the first competition we see, and our hero Mark Wahlberg has been doing this for close to 20 years at this point, and fails. In fact, he's failed so many times that folks are like, dude, are you even gonna finish? Fuck winning. Are you even gonna finish? Like, you never finish this race. You almost never place. Yeah, what is wrong with you? It's getting to the point where you can't get a sponsor. He has married one of his teammates who now has a child of his, so she's officially retired. So he has to find a whole new team when it comes to this newest race, because he's like, yeah, I've been doing this 20 years, 2 decades. Probably not going to be able to do this again. I kind of don't care for the Mark Wahlberg character. He tries to do a whole arc. He tries to grow as a human being. But it's just like, what are you doing, bro? You're
saying he
spending way
doesn't give
more
you
money
good
on.
vibrations?
Would you say that again, please?
Are you saying he doesn't give you good vibrations?
No, he does not.
Oh,
thank you. I understood that joke. I understood that reference. So.
You got that? Yeah, vibrations.
That's good. Majority of our audience, I think, won't get that reference, but I appreciate it.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, what are they called?
Well, that for those who don't know, that is why people keep calling him Marky Mark. He was a 90s hip hopper. He had one album. I think it did pretty well, but there was no second album. And he immediately tried to get into movies and succeeded.
All jokes aside, that album had some bangers on it. I will say that.
Okay. I don't know the one song, but okay.
Yeah, and that is a great song.
It's not a bad song.
And also, fun facts, musical fan, because if you don't know, his older brother Donnie, New Kids on the Block.
Just the facts, ma'am.
They fucking love it. Well, I think Mark Wahlberg was originally a New Kids on the Block, but exited before they actually did anything, if I remember correctly.
I've never heard that story before. I've been alive longer than you, but I also don't follow up on this stuff. So, but I've never heard that. Anyway, I feel like that would have been repeated as nauseum at this point.
Anyway, proceed.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, Mark Wahlberg has to recruit his team. Simu Liu, as you know from Shang-Chi, he was also in the Barbie movie this year or last year. He's the popular one, very handsome, has a social media account, 1 million+ followers, and he needs him for those numbers because the sponsors aren't even going to give him half of what he wants if that dude is not on the team. Natalie Emanuel from Game of Thrones, She's also in the Fast and the Furious movies now. Um, she plays a woman who just she's doing this for her father. Her father used to do these Iron Man tournaments,
The
and
family.
then it is later revealed that he has cancer. And while she is doing this specifically because he, well, you could say requested, you can say demanded. He is here. She is here for him, but every day that she is not with him is one day less she will have with him. And then Ali Suleiman, he is the only champion in this quadrilogy. He has 4 world champions prior to this, and the only reason why he isn't running with his team again is he's old and his knee is all fucked up. This is me smacking my right knee. They are a motley crew. They are a bunch of misfits, and again, they have to travel over 400 plus miles. I love it when these movies that take place in like the Dominican Republic or Costa Rica still use miles when I know they're using kilometers, but thank you. We're Americans. So about 75 miles into the trip, they run into a dog. And by the way, the country they're in is just filled with stray dogs, much like Italy is filled with stray cats. This country is filled with stray dogs. And we meet Arthur, the king. But before he's a king, he's a dog. And yeah, man, he's been beaten severely. He is barely clinging on to life. When he can find food, he is running away from other dogs that are just existing. It's a bad life. And throughout the movie, our hero Arthur the king is bleeding profusely from the abdomen. Like it's to the point where like, how have you not died already? What the hell?
Because
Anyway.
he's a good boy.
Oh well, that makes scientific sense then, and he is a very good boy. Anyway, he's at our primary team's first checkpoint. You come to this checkpoint, there are supplies waiting for you, there are tools waiting for you. Like, oh, this next part of the race, you have to use a bike, so your bike is here. There's also a tub filled with food. You may take anywhere from 20 minutes to 1 hour for rest. You can sleep, you can shit, you can take a shower, you can leave earlier if you wish. That's the rules in this, but it's never longer than an hour unless someone needs an IV, and then again, you're penalized 4 hours. So our team is they're in the way back, and then again, our navigator Ali, he figures out some weird shit. This was the craziest movie. This was the craziest moment in the movie for me, where they decided to take a shortcut. Everyone else is going this one direction, and they're like, "There's a zip line right up this hill here." And sure enough, there's a sign that says "Peligro." By the way, for you non-Spanish speaking folks, that means danger. It means go away. It means don't go up these fucking stairs, stupid. And our team does anyways. They have to zip line from A to B. They're maybe half a mile in the air, and there's no safety net. And our first 2 characters actually get across very safely and very dangerously, to the point where like they're strapped in. They have to have their 10 speeds strapped to their back, and these assholes are just like doing just free sailing, where like, yeah, I'm upside down and I've got a GoPro here and I don't care and I'm gonna just scream. And by the way, this is the point of the movie where if you're like me and you have mad vertigo, your palms are just sweating the entire time. Your hands have nothing to do with this scene, and no hands are involved in this scene. In fact, everyone is very hands off on this scene. However, I could not be more afraid for everybody in this, because guess what? Natalie Emmanuel, I don't know if it was the cable itself or her little rig, but she gets stuck in the middle of the zip line. Again, it's minimum. I didn't have a measurement stick there, guys, but it's at least half a mile up. Whatever, however tall it is, if this bitch falls, immediate death. She gets stuck. Mark Wahlberg comes in, saves the day, but he also has to do this thing where, like, one, he has to figure out how to brake and not hit her. And then he has to figure out, or decides he has to figure out, I'm going to unhook from this rig and then I'm gonna rehook in front of you, and then you're gonna hook onto my bike, and I'm gonna carry you the rest of the way, and that's just the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Spoiler alert, they make it. This is a true story. It'd be weird if they didn't. But yeah, that's maybe the most dramatic scene. It's very well done. There are GoPros on extended arms, where a lot of this film is done documentary style,
found
despite
footage.
being not necessarily found footage, but documentary style, if you will. So, like I said, they have already met Arthur the dog, and then they went, "Here's some meatballs. Go away, dog." 200 miles later, Arthur is there, and they have to go on the map, and they're like, "How'd that happen?" Anyways, they don't know how Arthur found them, but like rivers and valleys and a goddamn zip line were involved, and somehow this dog who is literally dying with every step, again, true story, somehow finds them, and then they adopt him. And anyways, they go on and finish the race, and I won't tell you much more other than that. I enjoyed this movie. It's 90 minutes, which you know I love. Could have been shorter, maybe. It's a long 90 minutes, but I enjoyed what I saw. If you're a dog fan, you're gonna be a big fan of this. And
Am I gonna cry? Am I gonna cry?
Probably. Probably, yeah.
So I might be going to see this movie this weekend.
I mean, I got misty eyed. I'm not a dog person, but I was just like, oh my god, are they gonna kill this fucking dog right now? I hope not. Oh my god.
So what's your final score?
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
I wish it was higher, but it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's definitely for the family. It's definitely going to be on Amazon Prime in like a month. It's not going to. There was a time when dog movies ruled the world, or at least America. That we are not in that time, but this was a very good inspirational film. It's a sports movie. It's a dog movie. It's a family movie. It crosses many vectors. It's good. It could be better, but I liked what I saw.
The real hard hitting question is though, is it better than All Dogs Go to Heaven?
Never seen that movie actually, and I'm a big Don Bluth fan. Yeah, I don't know why that happened. I like Burt Reynolds. I like Dom DeLuise. Again, I like Don Bluth. Never seen that movie. Is it better than Marley and Me? No.
There you go. Also, before we wrap up, so technically I was right, but sort of technically wrong. So apparently in the early 1980s, Maurice Starr discovered R&B quintet New Edition and guided their early success. After breaking ties with them, Starr and his business partner, Mary Alford, sought to create a white counterpart act. 15-year-old Donnie Wahlberg impressed Starr and Alford with his rapping skills, becoming the group's first member. He was initially joined by his younger brother, Mark, who left the group only after a few months. And then the other members got recruited. So technically, Mark Wahlberg was technically New Kids on the Block, but he wasn't really. He left before it became a thing.
Well, Lou Pearlman made New Kids on the Block, much like he made at least got New Edition famous. But every story I've heard, there's no New Kids on the Block before Lou Pearlman.
So that's why it's technically he was supposed to be in it, but he never ended up being in it.
Well,
So
they tried a brother combo, and that didn't work. Clearly, didn't work.
Still,
it is crazy that Mark, the younger brother, has had a better career than Donnie. However, Donnie has silently had a fantastic career. He's one of those. If he's not on CSI, he's on NCIS.
Or what was it? Is it Blue Bloods or something?
Or Blue Bloods. He's on some CBS procedural
with
cop show.
With what's his face?
Blue Bloods
Tom
is Tom
Selleck.
Selleck.
Yeah.
Okay, if he's on that, he's having a great career.
I think Tom Selleck is either his father or his father-in-law in that show. I never really watched a lot of it, but yeah,
same.
But still,
but you know what it is.
You don't want to show Tom Selleck. I'd be very happy with my career. There you go. That's me. Anyway, Arthur the King, 3 out of 5. Very good 3 out of 5, apparently.
Very good 3 out of 5. Could be better though.
check it out if you love dogs. Maybe close your eyes if you're scared of heights.
Oh fuck yeah! If you hate heights, dude, this is a
That's
horror movie.
I hate heights, so I might be like.
If you hate heights, there is a fantastic movie that Robert Zemeckis did in the early 2000s called The Walk, and it was about a French trapeze artist who lost his fucking mind and decided, oh, there's this thing in New York getting built called the World Trade Center. Oh, there's two of them. I need to affix a line between both buildings and walk across it at the very tippity top. And by the way, he succeeds, but also New York in the 1970s has never experienced this. So like helicopters are getting involved in this, and this man he's got no safety wire. He's literally on just a single trapeze wire. Like the gust of wind could just knock him off any point. So like it's if you have the chance to ever see Robert Zemeckis's The Walk, that thing will make your blood run ice cold.
How do you get the wires from one end to the other?
They shot an arrow with the tiniest string, which was attached to a thicker string, which is attached to a rope, which was attached to a thicker rope. Like it was a whole procedure. Like they had to start this thing at like 9:00 at night when the crew left because the building is still under construction, both of them. And then by the time sunrise happened, they were ready to do the trapeze walk.
Fuck that. That's what I was. Anyway, let's wrap up this week's show by getting us all the warm and fuzzy feelings inside with this week's feel-good story of the week.
It's the coolest fucking story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane. Can I hear it again?
What's really a fun fact is that, like, the stereotypical thing is obviously when someone's had too much to drink, they ramble on, they talk too much.
That has happened many times on the Waffle Box.
Yes, but this week's sober, relatively sober, I should say, is far longer than the drunk as a skunk episodes. Interesting. Maybe I talk less when I'm drunk. It's science. I don't decide to understand it. Anyway, this week's feel-good story comes to us from Virginia, where wildlife rescuers shared a video of an official wearing a red fox mask while syringe feeding an orphaned kit. The video posted to Facebook by Richmond Wildlife Center shows Executive Director Melissa Stanley wearing the somewhat realistic mask and rubber gloves while feeding a red fox kit brought to the center earlier this month. I will try my best to attach a link to the video below. You have to see it. They said, it's important to make sure that the orphans that are raised in captivity do not become imprinted upon or habituated to humans. To prevent that, we minimize human sounds, create visual barriers, reduce handling, reduce multiple transfers amongst different facilities, and wear masks for the species. The center said rescuers have been in contact with another rehabilitation facility about fox kits that are in the same approximate age and weight. They said officials are determining the best way for the female kit to be with other foxes of her own age. Reason why this is a feel-good story for me, one, it's just, like any animal that gets obviously lost or stray or orphaned, it's so nice when they don't die, in my opinion.
Okay, yep, that's fair.
But
fair.
The video itself, you have to. It's bizarre. Literally, this and the fox. When they say somewhat realistic fox mask, it's like it's pretty risky in that. She has both her hands up. She's holding the fox kit with one hand and syringe feeding it with the other, but the mouth is moving in the fox like as she, so it's like some real animatronic.
She spent some money then.
But the reason why it's a feel-good story as well is this is why I need to attach the video, because as soon as you hear the noise that this fox kit makes at the joy of like, oh, I'm hungry and I'm being fed, It's like, oh, the most, you could have the shittiest day of your life and hear a baby fox squeal for joy. And you're like, God damn it. God damn it. So yeah,
I hope
it's
that
not, it's not a
footage
great
and
feel good
your
story.
audio ends up somehow on one of my Facebook reels in the next 3 months.
I mean, it's where is it? Feel good stories. Right, I'm gonna just real quick play the video and just listen. Right, let's just I'll play. Listen to this. Listen to it. I mean, this bit's a bit weird because it's like you can hear it, but it's adorable, adorable.
Oh, sure. I'm not gonna take that away from you.
Yeah, that's the feel good story of the week. Fox don't die. Speaking of, right, right, you know my tales with the Ring doorbell.
Oh yeah, I got some myself.
Fucking right. So there was. I have to see if I can pull it up. But someone, I guess, the other people in the neighborhood finally had enough, like I had, where people were just like putting the most mundane shit on there, right?
Oh, I don't even look at that shit, but okay.
And this one was raccoon spotted in my backyard.
Mm.
And then all of the like, comments are like, "Did you contact Homeland Security? Call 911 now." It's, like, it's a fucking
That's
raccoon
fine.
in nature.
That's fine. I mean, raccoons can be vicious, so I kind of get why dude posted that, but at the same time, like, yeah, we have so many raccoons here. It's unless I see one in front of me, I'm not threatened.
We have
however, I was the dude who had a coyote walk through his service way here, and I went like, coyote on the loose. By the way, there's plenty of people who just walk their dog at this hour of the night that I posted. And some asshole like, so are you new to California? Or do you? And I'm like, hey man, like coyotes haven't been a thing for us for like 7 years, but also, if you're walking your dog, yeah, you might have a problem with a coyote walking out at the same time. So suck a dick.
Yeah, we have lots of wildlife here, as I've mentioned before. But yeah, I've only seen one coyote, so yeah, that would be a good heads up. But like, let's say raccoons. Wow. I've only seen, luckily, but there, raccoon, squirrel, fox, deer.
Oh, yeah, deer, nice.
Oh, we have like tons in the back. But
that's gonna be nice.
If you spot a lion, let me know.
I mean, lions are part of California. I don't know if any have made their way to San Francisco, but yeah, you get the lion spotting every now and then. We have raccoons, but we also have skunks, and then we have possums. So there's 3 different types of dangers there. Like again, I usually overreact when I'm a smoker outside and I find the raccoons in the trash can. Yeah, I might jump and go, oh my God. But guess what? They're usually just like, oh, we're gonna anywhere, sir. Don't worry. Okay. However, I came across a mama raccoon once upon a time. Babies are involved, obviously, and that bitch growled. I mean, I was like, I am not fucking with you. I'm gonna go the long way home. I was 25 feet away from home. Now I'm gonna be 300 feet away from home. I don't care. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
and it was.
I remember the one time because raccoons look cute. I don't care what you say.
Cute.
They can look cute. But then as soon as I was outside having a cigarette, and there was a raccoon walking by, and I was like, "Oh, look at that raccoon!" And then it kind of stood up on its legs, and suddenly it was like almost 5 foot tall. And I was like, "What the fuck is that?" No, I'm going inside. Fuck this. Yeah. And skunks, I avoid skunks just in case, because my dog's been skunked, as I mentioned several times before. That shit takes forever to get out. Not bad.
Skunks are pretty docile until you scare them, and then they spray you. So that's the problem. Like, you don't want to scare the skunk. You're terrified of scaring the skunk.
We get a lot of roadkill as well, as I'm sure many states do. But I will say, roadkill skunks are the smell version of being kicked in the balls. because like how many times have you driven past a dead skunk on the road and you pass it and you go, oh, that's fine. Oh, poor skunk. But then it takes a little while for that waft to work its way through your AC system, and then suddenly 30 seconds later, it's like being kicked in the balls. You're like, oh, did they get me in the balls? Did they get me in the balls? Oh, yep, they did.
It's that. Folks, ladies, if you've never been kicked in the balls, so first you feel the impact from the foot to the testicles, but then there's this delayed reaction where a signal literally goes up your thigh, to your hips, to your spine, all the way up to your brain. It's literally like 25 seconds before, like, oh my god, I'm in so much pain now and I need to throw up.
I don't understand why it takes, because if I stub my toe, that shit's instant. Why is it the bollocks are so slow to react?
I mean, the bollocks can react quickly. However, it's a delayed reaction that like just destroys you.
No,
you can be just immobilized immediately, or like you can like take 3 more steps forward like David Carradine in Kill Bill, and then you just die like where was I going with this? So coming to skunk roadkill, if you're in California, it is more than likely happened to you where you run over roadkill that was once upon a time a skunk, and that smell you described is there, but you're also like, someone's smoking a lot of weed around here. Oh my god. And then 15 miles later it's not a thing anymore, and you're like, wow, someone got really baked that day. Oh, holy hell, I hope they're not driving. We must have been near your field.
Don't drive high, boys and girls.
Don't drive. Do
you have those PSAs over the radio that we do over here, where it's like this is your mother. You think I don't know that you're driving high, but I can tell.
We don't have that.
And I am a police officer. You think I can't tell, but I can. It's like, what the fuck? It's like
we don't have that.
2024's version of like, this is your brain on drugs with the fucking egg in the pan or something shit.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's not a thing in California, at least not on the radio stations I regularly not listen to.
That might be why you don't listen to hear it.
I don't drive much, folks, but when I do drive, yes, there's a radio on, but we don't get those. We don't get the ads.
There you go. But anyway, if you learned anything from tonight, don't drunk drive. Don't
drunk and drive.
And don't smoke and drive.
Yeah, don't smoke and drive either, guys. Come on, they're working on a way to get you fucked, but they'll also know if you have weed. And by the way, if they suspect you're high, and then you have a singed joint, a smoked joint, you kept the roach because like we'll need that later, guys. You go to jail, and then you get all the bullshit that you get with a DUI. But yeah, don't do that shit, guys. I have a friend who's going through a DUI right now. This fool is looking at $10,000 in fines, and just not just fines, but like, yeah, he might have to. There's lawyer fees, there's judicial costs, and then they're talking about like, yeah, we're gonna have to like put a breathalyzer in your car. By the way, he doesn't just have one car because he's a business owner for what he does. He has a fleet of cars. So this might be like 10 breathalyzers in his fleet.
And I'm assuming he has to pay for one of those.
He has to pay for the installation of all those. And then when he succeeds and proves him wrong that he's done his time and he's not a liability, he has to pay for the deinstallation of them. Uninstallation? Whatever the word is. He has to pay for them to take that shit out. It all adds up, guys. And so if this was just one car, 10 grand. But because he is who he is, it's going to be a lot more. If they do that route, It's still just make like, well, your personal card we'll just worry about.
Imagine all the points on his credit card, though. All those miles. He could go on a nice vacation.
Okay. Silver lining.
Always
always got to look in the plus. Assuming he's paying with his credit card, but he might just cut a fucking company check. I might have to get back to him on that one. Like, yo, man, break out the MasterCard on this one, bro.
Right, could use the Costco card.
I'm kind of irritated at him because he should have just known better. Like, the $50 Uber ride would have been significantly less than this.
Well, you won't see that from me because I have never drunk under the influence of anything, Your Honor. So
beautiful.
That's a good.
And I love you for that. Thank you. Thank you.
I might also be lying, but anyway.
Oh my! Well, no, I don't love you.
Yes, you do. Anyway,
let's
wrap up this week's episode.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Oh, wonderful. Make sure you follow us at Waffle Box on Twitter for all the fun, up-to-date stuff. We are now, about 6 weeks away from our 3rd anniversary.
Ooh, exciting.
So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube or Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Enjoy Waffle Box, where we'll be going live for a very special episode on Wednesday, the 1st of May. Kush, you have another podcast that you do.
You haven't been listening to it, so don't start now. Thank you.
Wow. That's a big fuck you right there.
It's not a fuck you, but I've done enough. I lost count when there was over 8 days of audio with my voice out there, and don't worry about it. I have so much fun with the Waffle Box, and you folks are loving it, and I'm happy to be a part of that. Don't worry about this.
All right. Anyway, but do make sure you follow him at Kushford Hayes on Facebook. I'm at Only Mike Fish. It's a good night from me. It's a good night from him. Lathan, any final thoughts?
Good night, everyone. Oh, and do you know what image just popped into my head? You know those Life Alert commercials? The ones where the incredibly dramatic actor announces that they've fallen and they can't get up? I bet those commercials really piss off Madonna. Anyway, see you all next week.
Those commercials haven't aired in 25 years, but Madonna remembers them. Sure.
Anyway, until next week. Take care of yourselves and each other.
Hugs and kisses. We do love you. Thank you.
Mwah.
That's all, folks.
Play me off, Johnny.